Hi everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to the snowy edition of Missoula Live. Kim Anderson has the night off. She has a cold, and I feel for her. So Kim, all of the people here at Missoula Live say get better. I'm not going to bang on about MCAT material just a lot, but I wanted to point out two ongoing programs that we have. One, Saturday animation drop-ins. That's happening every Saturday, 1 to 5. Scott braved the frigid temps and had a bunch of kids this past Saturday. And there's a $10 fee for 4 hours of computer animation, virtual reality, green screening, and all that stuff. You can look at our website at mcat.org and learn a little more about it. The splash page is showing Spring Flicks at MCAT. That's March 25th through the 29th. And it's sort of in lieu of school during spring break. There is the pre-care beginning like when kids would go to school in the morning, like 8:30, and then there's some post-care too, like 3 to 3:30, thereabouts, right? Yeah. So if you're looking for a place to sort of activate your kids this spring break coming up, the age range we seem to attract and works out well are ages 9 to 13. You can negotiate a child outside of that general range by giving us a call, 542-6228. The cost is $150 for the week, but we will have some scholarships available, so don't let money hold you back in this regard. If you are interested, visit us at mcat.org, call us at 542-6228. So anyway, on to the show. Ted Hughes is here. He is Curator of Collections at the Historical Museum of Fort Missoula. Welcome. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me on. It's an honor.
Thank you. And your visit is occasioned by a new show that's opening at the Historical Museum. There's a grand opening coming up. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, we're putting the final touches together on the exhibit this week, and the grand opening will be Saturday, February 23rd, starting at noon. And there'll be snacks and beverages, and there'll be some tours of the exhibit.
Nice.
And it's an exhibit called No Enemy Movement Observed, the Vietnam War through the eyes of a Frenchtown Marine.
Interesting.
Here's the flyer.
And Scott's showing some pictures. I guess you could zoom in on the flyer later, Scott. So is this the individual?
Yeah, his name's Leon Howard. He was drafted into the Marine Corps in 1966, and he spent a 13-month tour in Vietnam from 66 to 67. And he kind of did some college, roamed around the country a bit after that, and ended up just outside of Frenchtown in the early 70s. And he became a timber feller.
Sure.
For the rest of his life.
Wow. And he had all of this direct material that formed the basis for the show.
Yeah. I've been the curator for about a year now at the museum, and Leon popped in last spring to introduce himself, and he was wondering if we'd be able to exhibit his gift. He said, you know, we're not getting any younger.
Right.
Us guys from the Vietnam generation. I'd love to have an exhibit that dedicated to the Marines and soldiers that fought in the Vietnam War. Not just about him, but for everyone.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, and I think we could arrange something. And I started going through his collection, and I was thinking of a smaller show, but once I delved into it, I realized it was going to have to be a larger show.
What are some of the objects that he brought back and maintained all these years?
Well, we have like his uniforms, a lot of documents related to his tour of duty, his binoculars. He was a scout with Marines, so he was the point guy on patrol. We have his compass, and we also have some I guess it's kind of contraband because
Oh.
you weren't supposed to take it out of the country, but we have some Viet Cong hand grenades
Oh my goodness, yeah.
that he disarmed.
He did.
before
Okay,
he
go
shipped them
ahead.
back. Some punji sticks, some metal punji sticks that were actually from when the Vietnamese were fighting the French.
Whoa, yeah.
He found some Viet Cong uniforms and some AK-47 bullets, items that he collected when they're out doing combat operations and search and destroy.
Oh, and because he was a scout, that influenced the title of the exhibit, No Enemy Movement Observed.
Yeah, he also donated one of his scouting diaries that he kept when he was out scouting. And,
Wow.
one of the things that, like every half hour he had to record something if
Yeah.
nothing was happening, so he'd write, no enemy movement observed.
Oh, yeah.
12:30, no enemy movement observed. And then he had observed small fire at these coordinates, 81 millimeter illumination round fired in direction light was extinguished. It's just really,
Right.
he'd observe 2 explosions, booby traps,
Whoa.
observe yellow smoke for medevac when the
Oh,
helicopter
yeah.
came in. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of a compelling.
That's pretty neat as well.
And this will be in the exhibit.
Yeah.
Of course.
And you brought something else in that envelope, too.
What I did was I worked with Marcy James at Ink and Paper
Oh, sure.
Studio.
Yeah.
I know her because all the pictures he took were these
Snapshot
beautiful-
glossies. Yeah, as
beautiful
objects, they're pretty
pictures.
wild.
but they're just these small snapshots. So
Yeah.
I worked with Marcy to have them enlarged to 8 by 10, 11 by 14, and there's even some 16 by 20s.
Nice.
So you can get a better sense of what Leon was seeing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why we call it Through the Eyes of a Marine, because we want people to, have some empathy for the experience of this really, really young
Yeah.
man who was put in combat for 13 months straight and sort of what he experienced.
Wow, that one. It has some of the wear, like where the emulsion is flecked off and so on.
Yeah,
Really gives it a historical feeling.
and kind of artsy.
Yeah, that's true.
I have the artsy
It's like the lens of memory, right?
Here he's in a Buddhist temple up
Oh.
by the demilitarized zone that had been abandoned.
Yeah.
Here's an abandoned village. Like this tiny one would be blown up to a size that,
Yeah, people could see at a distance and so on. That makes sense too. Wow, so Leon gifted this material to the museum
Yep.
some time ago, and there was enough of it. You thought, well, we can fill the Heath Gallery.
yeah.
And is that the one upstairs?
That's downstairs when you
Okay.
go in and hang a left.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a little room in the middle of the room that they built at some point to have some more wall space. And
Yeah.
I've turned that into a room that addresses post-traumatic stress.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because so many combat veterans come back
Yeah.
permanently damaged
Right.
by post-traumatic stress, so there'll be information in there. We're a little concerned if veterans come to visit
And have
they
a
might be-
trigger moment
Yeah.
or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll have materials from the vet center and
Oh, that's really interesting. Will there be a talk surrounding it?
at the opening we'll have tours, but we're just starting to look at our calendar and get some talks together, some
Yeah, sure.
programs. And
Because, there was a lot of controversy about how veterans of the Vietnam War were treated on their return because there was such a strong anti-war movement. And you and I were talking about Dan Gallagher,
Yeah.
bless his soul, a little bit before we started the show. And Dan was such a large part of that dialogue, about dealing with fitting back into society and so on. Well, that's wonderful, Ted. Is there anything you want to add to our visit here today?
There will be some information about Missoula at that time, the peace marches and Mike Mansfield's concerns. One
Yeah.
of his greatest regrets was that he didn't slow down or prevent the Vietnam War.
Interesting.
We'll have a little information about that, but we mostly want people to just have some empathy for what these young men went through.
Right.
And maybe think a little harder about sending 18-year-olds off to
Right.
kill or be killed.
Yeah, it's serious business. I have the number for the Historical Museum at Fort Missoula. If you want to learn more about the show, the grand opening again is Saturday, February the 23rd. And for details, you could give them a call. The number is 728-3476. So we'll be right back. I think Scott's going to show you the commercial that Austin Goose did such a good job presenting our opportunity to join Spring Flicks coming up in March. And I'll be back with more guests right after this.
Whoa! Hello, I'm MCAT, and so can you. This spring break between March 25th through the 29th, your kid can join us for Spring Flicks. It's a week-long camp that provides kids 9 to 13 years old with activities and more at your local television station. Go to MCAT.org or the link above to sign up for fun camps.
Welcome to another edition of the Montana Department of Transportation's How to Drive a Roundabout. We all know what to do at a traffic signal. Red means stop. Green means go. But when we come to a roundabout, we're often unfamiliar with what to do next. Oh no! Whoa, cowboy, wrong way. Here are the tips on how to properly drive on a roundabout. First, slow down when approaching a roundabout. Second, yield to traffic in the roundabout. Vehicles in the roundabout have the right of way. Now you're getting it. Third, do not stop within the circular portion of the roundabout. That's no place to stop. Fourth, signal your turn and exit the roundabout at the appropriate point. Following these instructions, you'll have no problem navigating the new roundabouts popping up all around Montana.
I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
And we're back with me making a funny face. Rachel and Julia are here to talk about what has turned into a pretty exciting event for Missoula. I can't remember how many years it has been for the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival. You guys must keep track because they say.
Yes.
The 16.
16.
Wow. See, years ago with my friend Tam, I ran a little theater that was kind of like a Roxy precursor. And Doug Hus Davies was like, you know, he was on the board of this, like, should be showing some documentaries. He thought, really, would people go to that? Yeah. And this is what it's turned into. Yeah. So it's really amazing, right? How many films are in the lineup?
This year there's 181.
Oh my God. In the 10 days?
In the 10 days, yeah.
So do you, just in case someone hasn't heard, would you like to give an overview of the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So in year 16, we'll be screening 181 films over 10 days in the Wilma, of course, MCT, and we're building a pop-up theater in the Elks Lounge.
Oh, good for you.
That's been fun. This is the 3rd year we've done that.
Yeah.
And we open a soft opening on Friday, but our main opening night feature is going to be Ski Bum, the Warren Miller story. So
interesting.
Biography on the father of ski movies. That's the free opening night as usual at the Wilma. And then a couple of other film highlights. We have 2 retrospective programs this year where we select the body of work of a veteran documentary filmmaker.
Yeah.
One is Travis Wilkerson, who is sort of an experimental filmmaker whose work is in the style of the third cinema. That is a style that came out of the resistance movement, labor resistance movement in South America. And he's echoed some of those themes in work he's done in the United States. including An Injury to One, which is about Frank Little, who was a labor organizer who was lynched in Butte.
Right.
So a lot of Montanans know about that one. And then another film he's going to present a live narration of is his newest. It's called Did You Wonder Who Fired the Gun? And it's essentially his way of processing a murder that happened in his family. His grandfather, I believe, murdered someone, a racially motivated murder.
Wow.
So Travis will be sort of processing the way he thinks and deals with that through this live narration and film that he's made.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. The other retrospective is the Zimbalist brothers, who have made a lot of really highly produced work talking about social issues through the lens of sports, soccer, football, so on and so forth. But they've also done a newer film called Give Us This Day, which is about East St. Louis, the city in Missouri that has the highest homicide rate per capita in the world.
Wow,
so
in the
very
world.
sad story, an incredible film.
Wow.
And of course a lot more. There's lighter elements.
Yeah, exactly.
But lots of great films coming our way. Those are retrospectives, films that have been made over the last decade and a half.
Sure.
But we have a number of world premieres, a record number of world premieres this year. And films in competition, everyone should go and see. Those are kind of the best of the best.
Yeah.
And there's so much to see.
And then
so-
typically towards the end of the 181 screenings, there is like an award screening
Yes.
in the
we'll-
final days, right?
Exactly. The winners will be announced on Friday the 22nd, but then we'll show the winners at MCT on Sunday night the 24th in the evening, so you can catch the films that won.
And are you going to use the auditorium itself or the upstairs room?
We are using both, actually.
Oh,
We're in the
wow.
auditorium for the screenings,
Yeah.
and then our Doc Shop conference, which is the film industry conference, will take place in the meeting room upstairs.
Oh, brilliant. That's a really good venue. I've never seen a film in there. I've seen a lot of plays. And I always
Yes.
thought, gee, I wonder, just make a good...
We've convinced them to be a cinema for,
Well,
for a
that's
few days,
excellent.
and it really is an amazing
Good for
place
you.
to see a film. Yeah.
Well, if the folks watching, if you've never checked out the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival, it is a phenomenon. If someone wants to get a pass, is it super pricey now to see all the films? Is there such an animal?
For 10 days, it's compared to other festivals, which we're the longest, one of the biggest documentary film festivals in the United States.
Yeah.
And so usually you have to spend, I don't know, $250 for a 4-day festival.
But wait,
We're
there's
10.
more.
Yes, we're a 10-day festival, and it's $325 for all access. All screening, if you just want to go to all the movies.
Yeah.
All access is parties and other fun things.
Yeah, like the doc
But-
shops and
Exactly,
everything.
Yep. So the all screening is $175. So pretty
Okay.
good deal to be able to see as many as you want over 10 days.
It's pretty amazing indeed. And then single admission tickets, if people are saying, oh, I'm just going to focus on this one I really want to see.
Right. Yep. $9
Okay.
to see a film. $7 for students and seniors.
Yeah. Okay, that's a pretty good overview. And Scott, I can't remember, did you show the website? Yes, he says. Well, folks at home, I've got to enjoin you to go to the website because there's so much material they can't possibly tell you about it. But at the website, there's little vignettes. You could think of it as like a massive Netflix of reality, I suppose. And in a way, I'm imagining that the way people consume documentary media has really been changed by video on demand.
Absolutely.
Where you would not see in a video store, let's say you went in a video store, it's 1994, and there might be some like documentaries there, but there would be of just a primal nature, right? Like 6 of them, Frederick Weissman, maybe Maisel Brothers, something. So, yeah, but now people, I think the promise of multimedia, of the internet, of people say, oh, it's going to be a lot more diversified. Maybe it has come about because I think a lot of people watching the show would be like, yes, I will see a documentary like The Making of a Murder. How many people have watched that?
Right.
Pulling their hair out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're sort of doing something different at Big Sky. So many people can watch things on their devices and in the solidarity of their own home. But we really want people to come into public and consume and learn about things in public where they can have conversations and learn. So at the core of the mission of the Big Sky Film Institute, which is our umbrella organization, is media literacy, which is all about accessing and creating creating and evaluating media, which is a good segue to talk about
Yeah,
education.
'cause I know you
programs
want to
too,
do
but-
that.
But yeah, so much of the festival is also getting people into rooms together to create community engagement and really push folks to think and converse and learn new perspectives and challenge them.
Right, because a lot of these presentations have the Q&A afterwards.
Yes.
And I mean, I suppose folks at home, though, they're watching TV. Well, they can appreciate this fact, and it's come over a couple of times that, and I'm guilty of this, I might start a movie and I've got the phone in my hand in case I'm bored or something.
I know.
It's terrible,
We're all
right?
guilty.
But they say when you go to the movies, you pay the $9 or whatever it is, you've made a commitment of concentration that the circumstances are going to back you up in.
Yeah.
So that's already a plus,
Right.
because there's nowhere to go. You paid the price of admission, you're going to pay attention to the content, but you guys are offering a lot of filmmakers right on hand.
Yes. Yeah, we
So-
have, I think, 180 filmmakers coming this year, and then another, 30 or so film industry professionals who are there. So you can ask questions about how did you get connected to this story?
Yeah.
What's happened to this person now? You always want to know more. If a documentary is good, you want to know more. at
That's
the
right.
end. You don't want it to end. So, yeah, that's the amazing part of the festival is we get so many people here to engage with the Missoula community.
And it's super popular. It's not like if a novice that was watching the show decided to go, to be in a room of like 12 other curious individuals. I mean, hundreds of people
Yes.
have gone to the festival in the last, did you say 16 years?
16 years. I'd say.
I am feeling old. Well, let's turn to the young people then. They are the hope of the future. So media literacy, a big goal of the Big Sky Film Institute, which is the umbrella organization that creates the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival. I know at MCAT, every year we're checking out a bulk of equipment so that teens principally would make their mini documentaries, which are also integrated into this extravaganza. So do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so we have two specific programs where we collaborate with you guys, MCAT, to access your equipment so our teens that are participating in those programs are able to make films from them. And one of those is our Youth Fellows program, which is led by Michael Workman, who's our senior programmer and designer at the Film Institute and for the festival. And that course lasts from October through the festival, and those students right now are working on editing and finishing up those projects with their babies right now.
Right.
And we'll be screening that at the latter end of the festival, part of our Schoolhouse Docs block. And then another program we do is a 2-day intensive that happens over the first weekend, the February 16th and February 17th of the film festival. And that is our Teen Doc Intensive. And with that course, because it's just 2 days, we cover a lot of ground from
Right.
9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we are partnering with the journalism school at the university.
Nice.
And have access to equipment through MCAT as well, and screen that in the same block as our Youth Fellows block. But with that course, it's not necessarily just Missoula County Public Schools students, because it's over the course of the weekend. We have students coming all the way over from Fort Belknap Reservation,
Nice.
Harlem, Ronan, Polson, and so we get a bigger group, a more diverse group of perspectives and students coming from all over to participate in that. And we have the pleasure of putting them up in a hotel for the weekend
Excellent.
and giving them passes to enjoy the films and connect with filmmakers. And this year we have a participating kind of celebrity filmmaker guest that's going to be attending the festival that will show our film and talk a little bit about what does it go into editing down footage and you know how difficult it is. And 2 days, I think, for most people, it's like, what? How do you make a film in that amount of time?
Yeah. And I
So-
think you can't overestimate the impression it makes on young people to be able to do, like a trip and an overnight stay and then hobnob with adults into something they are passionate about. It's something, I mean, I've done a few things like that in my youth, and I'll never forget it, that they were just so crazy, these experiences.
Yeah.
And so that's wonderful that you guys are integrating that and then recognizing too, like Missoula, the only thing happening for 160 miles in any direction in terms of media production and this kind of activity. So
Yeah.
that's great. Congratulations for casting a wide net like that.
Yeah, it's pretty exceptional, and we do a lot with a little, and I think that a lot of people forget about the ed programs. We have 6 education programs at the Institute and throughout the festival, and
Yeah.
so we're able to juggle a lot and reach a lot of different students, and
Yeah.
so that's really cool.
Oh, congratulations. That is really cool.
Yeah.
And you guys are a nonprofit organization.
We sure are.
Right. So I don't know if people, there's a donate button. You'll soon see me asking for money for our move to the library, but people can donate to the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival.
Yes, indeed. In fact, it's easy to do if you buy tickets too.
Yeah, right.
Buying
And you get
tickets to the
something in
festival is the way
return.
to do it. Yeah, and you can, click the donate button when you're paying for your tickets.
And for the doubting folks out there, they can go to the opening, the biopic of Warren Miller,
Yeah.
for free, right?
Yes,
Or is
they
it
can.
so
Yes.
typically the first one is free.
Yep.
It's at the
6 p.m. on
Wilma.
Saturday. The 16th.
This Saturday, the 16th.
Yeah.
Coming up, people. But the most important thing for folks at home is, I think, to go to the website so you can absorb just the immensity of the activity. And now I'm forgetting one venue, Wilma Theater, MCT. That made a big impression on me.
And the Elks Lodge.
That's right, the pop-up at the Elks, which I think is brilliant.
It's
you know
so
what?
cool.
Yeah,
I do a
feels
show
very Montana.
call Out and About, and one of the places I took a tour of and so on was the Elks. And you can see how hard they've tried, to make the Elks available to the community. It's the home of the winter market right now, and it's beautiful
Yes.
architecture.
Exactly. It's one of those last really cool old,
Yeah.
early century buildings that hasn't gotten knocked down.
Yeah. So that'd be a
Knock on wood.
wonderful venue. I don't think it's never going to happen.
Oh,
it's
it's-
too
it's-
important.
Yeah,
It's staying.
it is.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
goodness
yeah.
for the benevolent order.
Yeah, but they want to evolve, so this is really great. So another good reason people should check out the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival is 10 days, beginning the 15th,
That's
Friday,
it. Yeah,
free show Saturday the 16th at the Wilma,
you got it.
and then cruise on through the
Through
next.
24th.
Right, and then if people are picky, they can look forward to the awards show the following weekend. Anything you want to add?
Oh my gosh, so many things.
No.
Yeah, I guess the last thing, since if there's any filmmakers who watch MCAT,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's many. Attending the Doc Shop conference if you're not doing that as a filmmaker in Montana, then you're really missing out. There are people coming from the New York Times Op Docs and Al Jazeera and the Atlantic Studios, from let's see, American Experience, America Reframed, ITVS, Vision Maker Media. I mean, lots of the industry coming to Montana in the winter when it's really hard to
Yeah,
get
brilliant.
February.
So, everybody has time. There's you
Yeah.
can't go anywhere. And it's an incredible week of learning a lot, lots of professional development. And it's so intimate here that you get to meet people who maybe will be your collaborators on your next project. Maybe it's not a fancy industry
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Maybe it's another filmmaker who comes to the festival, or a local who's just interested in helping you. So it's
Yeah,
a
good
really
pitch.
wonderful conference, and if you can attend, you should.
Excellent. Well, thank you both, Julia and Rachel, for taking the time to be on the show.
Thank you for
You
having
know it,
us.
and thanks for doing the festival again.
Our pleasure.
We'll be right back. I know Deb Fosnick has been out there. She very nobly did a coin toss to be next on this show to talk about the Watershed Education Network. So right after this, you'll see that. Okay.
I've heard people say, what you see affects how you feel, and how you feel affects what you see.
What were they thinking? What are you thinking? Why are we trying to glorify this moment?
It takes a stretch of imagination to ask, well, what does that world look like?
As a parent, you'll do whatever you can to try and provide for your kids. We want to be who we are, not who you are.
If you let a dream rattle around in your head forever, that's where it's gonna stay.
It's just a feeling, like a gut feeling.
This is where my ancestors at. This is where my daddy spent his money at. This is where I'm gonna stay.
I don't think I'll ever fatigue of seeing human beings accomplish the heroic. I think that's really beautiful.
Saturday Drop-Ins return for their third year of stop animation and media fun. Every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m., your kid can work with Legos, play, and more to make their characters come to life. Animation isn't the only reason to stop in. Hi! Your kids can experience media through editing, voiceover, and short films. Games and activities to keep your kids busy all Saturday afternoon, starting September.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
We are back, and I'm glad you saw a PSA about streams because Deb and Asa are here from the Watershed Education Network to talk about streams, right? Ponds, lakes, everything water. So welcome.
Thanks, Joel.
You're most welcome. So can you give people like an overview of your guys' activities and mission?
Sure. The Watershed Education Network has been around Missoula for about I'm going to say 23 years, since 1996.
Yeah, it's 23.
So that's how long we've been bringing children out to their rivers and streams and ponds to discover aquatic life and do some investigating their own backyard rivers.
Right.
Putting waders on, grabbing a bug net, and heading down to the river. So our work is to extend science education for kids by providing a field trip that they wouldn't normally get.
Yeah.
And as you all know, kids got their technology in front of them and have a lot of screen time, and so our schools are very hard pressed to take field trips and have the time and resources to do that. So
and everyone wants them to, right? Everyone says, well, we don't even know how to calculate what this disconnect from the natural environment is doing because all our screens are relatively new. 23 years ago, there were no little phones, were there? There was just like 2 broadcasting television places in the video store. Yeah. So you guys have endeavored to introduce kids to the notion of natural aquatic flows, of quality of water. Like, don't they like microscope it, looking for certain elements of water health or something?
So when we're at the stream with a group of students, we're going to look at macroinvertebrates. Those are the aquatic bugs. The water chemistry.
You're showing the video, of some of your activities, just so you know.
Exactly. So we're out there with the bug net catching aquatic macroinvertebrates. And this is our stream team, which Ace is going to tell a little bit more about. Another part of our program beyond the school children and different high school groups, middle school groups studying water is our community stream team.
Right.
And so the Watershed Education Network has a school program side and a community and citizen science side.
Yeah. And are you guys still in that red building at the end of East 4th Street?
We've moved to 802 East Front, the former Great Bear Foundation house.
Oh, you're in the Great Bear Foundation house. Wait, high five.
So wonderful.
Oh, that's really wonderful. So you're right there by the Clark Fork River, by the pedestrian University pedestrian bridge, we call it. You're right by the Pizza Hut. That's got to count for something. Yeah, you get a lot. I mean, you're right by the Pizza Hut. But that's wonderful. You got your own building there.
It's wonderful. We can store all our waiters in the basement. The university students and our community members can find us really easily.
Yeah.
And we're right by Rattlesnake Creek.
Right next to Rattlesnake.
That's right, the little bridge right there.
Right.
Oh, that's all. So you deal with that more than the Clark Fork, which it feeds into just there.
Right.
Yeah, so our big project, the Stream Team this year, is going to be focusing on Rattlesnake Creek.
Yes.
So we've got a couple partnerships with the proposed dam removal.
Right. Now, do you guys want to explain to the public what that is? You know, how there's a dam. It had to do with mountain water becoming city of Missoula water. So up the Rattlesnake, there is a dam, and there's a proposal to remove it.
That's right.
Could you fill it out a little more? Do you know more than me about that?
Yeah, so Fish, Wildlife, and Parks and Trout Unlimited have been working on this dam removal project, and they're hoping to start the proposed removal in 2020. And so a lot of it has to do with making that a better habitat for our fisheries, so bull trout in specific. And so getting rid of that dam and kind of freeing the flow and kind of getting colder and cleaner water for those fisheries.
The dam was placed there years and years ago, right, by the water company, and they felt it had some purpose back then.
It was a reservoir for drinking water.
Wow.
A long time ago, they wanted to hold water for Missoula's drinking water.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And that's why they put it in. And it's in the upper Rattlesnake.
Right.
And I remember, you know, when I was a younger fella, I would bike up there. For some reason, I wanted to go that way to the Rattlesnake Recreation Wilderness area. And there's like a little house.
Right.
And then I guess did you go right over the dam itself?
Alongside.
Yeah.
You went alongside it, looked down at that reservoir.
Yeah.
Right.
So that information you would gather about the situation of Rattlesnake Creek pre-dam removal and post-dam removal.
During and post-dam.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a couple years in the making of collecting this really important data. You know, that's going to be available to the community, but also we're going to be giving this data to Trout Unlimited and Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Now, members of the public, they might be like, well, this sounds really interesting. Could they volunteer to do this work, or are kids going to undertake it through your education program?
Great question. We want our community members to know they're welcome to be trained and participate in the Stream Team. So Ace is going to tell you all about our training.
Yeah.
All right,
so
cool.
I am the new Stream Team coordinator with Watershed Education Network. And so I'm going to be leading our Stream Team, which is going to be comprised of volunteers, community members, students, interns, and we're going to be going out about once a week on Sundays, starting late March, and through the summer to collect this data. To start, we're going to have two trainings, so if one person can't make it, they can go to the next one.
Sure.
The first training is going to be Thursday, March 7th,
Okay.
which is going to be from 3 to 6 p.m. And we're going to kind of go over stuff that we're going to be doing out in the field, so how we're going to be collecting that data. We'll meet at the Watershed Education Network office. 802
East Front.
Right behind Pizza Hut.
Right.
Can't miss it. And then the next training is going to be that following Saturday, March 9th from 11 to 2. So, and that'll be open to anybody that wants to come out that's, you know, passionate about our watersheds and wants to help us collect this data. And then that are comfortable being out in the field for a couple hours in all sorts of weather.
You guys supply the waiters.
You bet.
Okay, there's that going for it. And it's a thorough education. You have 2 3-hour training seminars a week apart, right before that spring we've heard so much about is supposed to come.
Yes.
So it'd be a wonderful way to observe the, you know, the onset of the spring into the summer. I mean, if someone had made that commitment, are you looking for people to come every week, or can they leapfrog, or what's going on there?
When they're available, you know, I mean, it's going to be nice to have some consistent volunteers to have consistent data.
But we'll do some on-the-ground training too to folks that didn't make it to the training, so they kind of understand what's going on.
And I see Scott's showing some of your website, and the title there, Citizen Science Stream Team.
Stream Team.
But like he's got this really weird. You're not really MontanaWatershed.org, are you?
That's our website.
That's our website.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh, gee, I didn't know that. All right, folks at home, it's MontanaWatershed.org to go to the Watershed Education Network website. I'm so glad we talked, because I would have been like confused. Have you got a sign up there, or?
Yes, so on that website, you can go to the volunteer page, and you can fill out a volunteer application, and then we get a notification when people fill that out, and then we can shoot them an email right then to get them on board.
And on the student side, how many teachers do you think are aware of the Watershed Education Network?
Well, we ran several programs last year.
Yeah.
So approximately 90 programs.
Wow.
So we know some of those are repeat fall and spring.
Yeah.
So we have some great relationships with our middle school, high school, elementary school teachers.
Excellent, because if teachers are watching, I want them to feel confident, you know, that you guys have been yelped or whatever.
And we welcome teachers to just get a hold of us at our email, water@montanawatershed.org.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got a statewide handle on your website name. That's great. There's also a number of, they're like homeschool groups, like Endeavor. They've come here and done some work. But you're open to homeschoolers engaging with you as well.
Yeah. We've served Endeavor students and had a
Yeah, they've been really fun.
Wonderful.
Scott's worked with Endeavor kids here as well.
Yep.
All right, that's really good to know. What else do you want to cover? I know Stoney's waiting out there, but we got 18 minutes in the hour.
Well, we sure wanted our community to know that February 26th is a night at Rattlesnake Distillery where folks can come down, meet our staff, participate in a raffle. Some of the money goes to support our student programs and our field trips.
Yeah.
So
you got a big fundraiser coming up.
Well,
or that thing where you go.
Spirit Night
Yeah,
at the
right.
distillery.
And where is that? Did you say Rattlesnake Distillery?
That's the one across from Alan Vick's? No. Yes.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. I never knew it had a name. Well, obviously it has a name. I walk past there all the time. And it's across from Yoga Fitness Center, James Bar.
Yep.
It's like right on the corner.
Yes.
It used to be it used to be one of those secondhand stores back in the day. And then Steve Ludicky had his Everything Green shop in it. Alder Street. Okay, that's good.
That's right. So from 3 to 6 on February 26th. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, in the afternoon, 3 to 6.
Yep.
And also, I'm such a freak about it. I want everyone to know where something is.
Good.
Double front chicken, go west. And then the last building is the one we're talking about.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, they could meet Asa, talk about Stream Team. I'll talk there with our school programs. We've got some other folks they can visit with. Raffle tickets.
Excellent. And people can donate by attending this event.
Sure.
And can they do so on the website?
Yes, we have a donate button on the website.
Excellent. Yeah, no, listen, I've been thinking about it myself.
Like it. Well, it's been really great to visit with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. And is it okay to give out this phone number in case people want more information?
Yes.
The 5411?
541-9287.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, thanks again. And I've got one more guest for you folks at home. Stony Sasser is here to talk about a new artist in residency program being put together by her organization, and we'll see what that's about right after this.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
You like it?
Ranchers are the stewards of Montana's great grasslands and wetlands. Ducks Unlimited works with ranchers on conservation programs to improve cattle production and wildlife habitat. Montana is the nation's third largest waterfowl producer. Ducks Unlimited promotes working lands programs that help keep ranchers on the land while improving habitat for wildlife and Montana's outdoors people. To learn more about conservation and Ducks Unlimited, visit www.ducks.org/Montana.
Okay, we're back. I'm sorry I'm bending over from my clipboard. I didn't see you come in. Stony Sasser is here, and I want to make sure to say your organizations correctly. That's why. Open Air Montana. And do you want to explain to people what Open Air Montana is all about?
Yeah, so Open Air Montana, or Open Air really, is a residency program that's part of Western Montana Creative Initiative. So that's the overarching organization, and Open Air is an artist in residence program that we are just starting up this year. To invite artists and connect with unique sites around in the area. Regionally.
Excellent. I'm so glad we talked about MCAP being one of those potential sites.
Absolutely.
Another one, is that the Historical Museum?
Yeah, so we have the Historical Museum at the fort.
Yeah.
And Ted was just on here earlier, so we'll be working with Ted, which is wonderful.
Excellent.
And then we have Moon Randolph Homestead.
Oh, yes.
And we're also working with the Flathead Lake Biological Station.
That's right.
Home Resource, and the Selway Bitterroot Frank Church Foundation to put an artist in the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness.
Wonderful. And you and I visited about it. Oh, hold on, I'm worried. Scott and people at home, I'm sorry, I'm just going to move the microphone, which I forgot. I apologize. Informal television. I want to make sure you're heard, though. So this is really a great new opportunity for Montana artists who are always on the lookout for good opportunities to get aligned with pretty interesting places and let that place be sort of an inspiration to do it like an on-site, site-specific type work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the artists are invited to engage in the site. By the nature of being in a specific place, you're influenced by the location, the history of it. A lot of these sites have really interesting libraries that go back to their, establishment. Obviously, the historical museum at Fort Missoula has a rich history, as well as Moon Randolph. They have a really interesting resource library.
They really do, and they have fascinating buildings. Like I did a show about it a year or two ago, and they have some fascinating hardware on their barn building that came out of the old mercantile, for instance.
That's right. So
and
shared histories converge. Yeah.
And they have an orchard. And they have lots of older buildings with funny little machines that used to do stuff our modern machines do.
Totally.
Apple coring. What?
That's right. Yeah.
So these sites can be really interesting for artists. Like if someone were to come to MCAT, and I think it should be you, but whatever, they could use this studio with its grid and its lights and its projectors. Absolutely. And I could envision them, doing something maybe about the history of media in Missoula. Who knows?
Yeah.
We have a library of 7,000 titles from 28 years ago. And when you and I talked, we talked about how fun it would be to be at Home Resource, which would have lots of recycled household and commercial building elements.
Exactly.
All these sinks, tubs, hinges, hardware,
Right.
doors,
Right.
that an assemblage artist would have a field day there.
Absolutely. It's a dream come true.
Right? So what was the inspiration for the open air and the Western Montana Creative Initiatives?
Yeah, so my background, I've been in Missoula for a good while, but I went and did my my MFA in visual arts in Illinois State University.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful experience there. It was a 3-year program. They had an excellent visiting artist program. They invited artists in from all over, and I was just blown away listening to artists talk about their practice and their process, and so I just really was thinking about that and wanting to kind of nurture those opportunities here in Missoula to support our already wonderful arts community. So,
Yeah, a fertile ground.
Yes.
So if artists are watching the show, you need to get to the website. And Scott, have you shown it? I'm sorry, I'm not looking over there, and I keep bugging him, like, that doesn't seem to be the right address. Oh, wait a minute. So this is Western Montana Creative Initiatives, Creating Open Air, which looks like an acronym, is it?
yeah, WMC.
Artists in Residence, duh.
Yeah, that's right.
So if people are watching and they would like to apply, is the application process open now?
That's right. So the application is available now, and applications are due March 3rd.
Okay.
The website's openairmt.org. And we have a 10-day residency in the spring that's specifically for Montana artists. So I encourage Montana artists to apply to that and any others that they might be interested in. We have a summer and fall residency, and so excited to share
it's
opportunities with everyone.
What can you offer the artists on their side?
Yeah, so they'll have a studio space with each site, obviously, and for the summer and fall artists, we also offer lodging, and based on fundraising, we hope to offer artists a stipend as well for
Yes.
$25 a day. We value artists, we value their contribution and their time. Their work is meaningful, and we want to invest in it as a community partner. And we'll work to offer and engage them in community opportunities and activities as much as possible. And in addition to our sites that artists will be at, they'll also have access to community resources. And so we have a few partners there. Natural History Center, artists will be able to go and check out the Natural History Center. They can be there all day long, drawing, painting, recording, anything they like. Free Cycles, Home Resource, MCAT, many wonderful community resources. And so they'll have that, and we'll also connect artists with each other. So we're engaging in dialogue, and then at the end of each residency, the artists will get to exhibit, share about their work in a kind of a casual lecture environment.
It seems extraordinarily fun.
I pinch myself each day thinking, is this my life?
Yeah. And then you guys are a nonprofit. You are trying to collect funds to pull this off too.
That's right.
And what a wonderful opportunity, for the nonprofits that are involved to get, what do you call it, earned publicity.
Yeah.
There's that. And also to sort of introduce people to what they do.
That's right. Absolutely, yeah. It's a wonderful kind of convergence of interests and aligned goals and missions. And a lot of these nonprofits maybe have had residencies or artists before, but it's a lot to kind of manage and select and jury and to organize the artists.
Sure.
And so we're kind of complementary, symbiotic beings, if you will. So
who do you have helping you? Have a board of directors?
we do have a board of directors, and my kind of co-founder, Hadley Ferguson, has been involved from the beginning.
She did the beautiful murals, right downtown on Broadway.
Yes, and the murals at the Capitol building. Helena, she's a compelling artist and has done great work. And then we're also fiscally sponsored by the Missoula Community Foundation.
Excellent.
And so we have our 501c3 status through them. Yep.
A great opportunity. And then people should look towards Open Air Montana, as these residencies take place, because you'll have an opportunity for the public to come in and see what came of that.
There'll be lots of opportunities for the community to come and learn and hear from the artists. Also, we'll feature all of our artists on our website as we select them. And then there's lots of opportunities for people to get involved. We'll need volunteers all the way through. So there's lots of opportunities for engagement.
Nice. Well, is there anything you want to add? I know we can't dawdle, Lori said, because we're showing a Citizens Academy.
Wonderful.
So that, she said, right at 5, we're
All
starting
right.
at.
Joel, thank you for your time.
Oh, you're most welcome, Sonny. Thanks for coming. And then once again, dear viewer, if you're interested in the open air artist residency, the deadline is coming up. So go to the open air, is openairmt.org.
You got it.
And then you can find all this information about the artist in residency experience. So just in closing, I'd encourage you parents and caregivers out there to take a look at MCAT.org. Scott and his crew are offering a spring flicks experience here at MCAT to kind of substitute for kids going to school during the spring break. That would be March 25th through the 29th. More information at MCAT.org. Well, as always, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this program. I'll be back, hopefully, with Kim Will Be Healed. In 2 weeks, we'll have a new show on February 25th. So until then, for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. Thanks for watching.